All righty, going to call this meeting to order, 6 p.m. on April 12th. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Councilmember Blair.
Here.
Councilmember Richardson.
Here.
Councilmember Crossman.
I'm here.
Councilmember Smith. Here. Councilmember Hess.
Here.
Councilmember Roy. Here. Councilmember Kaminsky. Here. Mayor DePinto.
Here. All right, moving on to agenda item number 3. We don't have any special presentations. Moving forward, do we have any public comment? Anyone online that wants to comment?
Erica, can you check that?
Doesn't look like we have anyone who wants to comment. We'll move on to the consent agenda. This includes regular meeting minutes and proclamation for Autism Awareness Month. I will go ahead and read the proclamation. Well, let's do any discussion on the consent agenda and vote on it, and then I'll do the proclamation. Councilmember Hess.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Roy. It's been motion seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any opposed? It's been motion second and carried. I apologize. I did not do an agenda approval. Thank you. Kathy. Let's back up real fast to agenda approval. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda? Councilmember Hess.
I'd like to request that when we go to approve the agenda, that in reference to 6A, that we postpone that until next week.
Is there a second for that motion? Motion dies. Is there a motion to approve the agenda? Councilmember Smith.
Move to approve the agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been motion second, and all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, and I apologize for going out of order, council. So we passed the consent agenda already before the agenda, so I apologize for that. I don't think we have to go back and revote on that, do we, Kathy?
No.
No. Okay, in that case, I'll go ahead and read the proclamation for Autism Awareness Month, April 2022. Whereas autism is a pervasive developmental disorder affecting social, learning, and behavioral skills of those affected by it. And whereas autism was once thought to be a relatively rare disorder affecting only 1 in 10,000 people. And whereas as more and more health professionals become proficient in diagnosing autism, more children are being diagnosed on the autism spectrum, resulting in rates as high as 1 in 110 children nationally. And whereas while there is no cure for autism, it is well documented that if individuals with autism receive treatment early in their lives, it is often possible for those individuals to lead significantly improved lives. And whereas autism affects the areas in the brain that regulate pragmatics of speech and perceptions of others, affecting how people with autism assimilate and express verbal and nonverbal communications and sensory processing. And now therefore be it resolved that the Yelm City Council hereby recognizes April as Autism Awareness Month in the city of Yelm and strongly encourages all citizens to observe the month by learning about people with autism, their strengths, abilities, and the programs which serve their needs. Signed in the city of Yelm, Washington, this 12th day of April 2022. All right, moving on to new business. Lodging Tax Advisory Committee award recommendation. And before we start on this, I just want to mention that I've already chatted with council members Richardson regarding abstaining from this discussion and vote due to the rules on the Chamber of Commerce. With that, I will go ahead and brief the council on it. As mayor, I serve as the chair for this LTAC committee, which stands for a Lodging Tax Advisory Committee. This committee receives funding that's paid in by the users, which include the hotel here in Yelm, the Yelm Prairie Hotel, and it's the sole participant in this lodging tax. It was created by the state legislature for funding and tourism promotion. It's meant for events in the city, or it's meant for awardees that bring beds into heads, basically, bring people outside of Yelm into Yelm. So heads into beds. Did I say beds into heads? We don't want to bring beds into heads. Thank you, Councilmember Kaminsky. All right, so it's meant to bring people from out of the city into the city. And so that's what these funds are for. Their committee members include 2 members. Well, I don't have the exact, or do you have the exact report? Is it on here? Who's on the actual committee? I apologize for that, but the committee members do include Margaret Clapp, who's with Prairie Parks, Prairie Park Properties, Niece Hiblin, also from that property, and Cynthia Schmier, who is no longer going to be on that committee because she doesn't represent an actual one of the required people, which basically has to be one of the hotel contributors to this tax, or it could be a participant of it from one of the events. So one of the events that receive funding, one of those folks can be, as in the baskets, can be on it. So with that in mind, we will be appointing someone with the approval of City Council onto this committee in the future, and that'll be in the near future. But as of now, the still key facts and information about what's been going on so far with the LTAC. They last met in November of 2021 and decided to allocate up to $12,000 to be made available as grants to the 2022 lodging tax fund applicants. The LTAC held a public meeting, which I was part of, on April 4th, 2022 to review and discuss applications, as well as decide how much to grant to applicants. Only one application was received. The LTAC has reviewed and recommended funding the Yelm Chamber of Commerce $6,000 to help fund the Nisqually Valley Barbecue Rally. Attached is the actual LTAC application form. And I do want to mention that we also decided during that meeting that we would keep this process open, the application process open year round, so that if anyone wants to apply. Currently it was just there was a small window that you can apply for it. And so moving forward, we will be opening this up year round. There'll still be deadlines that people would have to adhere to, but if an organization wants to apply for those funds, they can go ahead and do that. Councilmember Blair, then Hess.
How much notice and time was there? Because I remember in the past, there's quite a few applicants.
Yeah.
So there'd only be one this time.
Yeah, there wasn't any advertising this year. So if people wanted to know about it, they would have had to have talked to one of the committee members, and I understand how frustrating that might be. Just to be blunt, there is little transition for me when I found out about it, and so I do take a lot of fault on that for advertising. So I do apologize for that. We will be working to open up the I will be working with the rest of the committee to encourage them to open up the funding for the rest of the year, since only 6,000 of the 25,000 that was budgeted is going to be spent. So for the time being, we do have a recommendation from the LTAC committee for at least one applicant that was on it. They knew of it. I'm pretty confident we can do more, and I will ask the committee to revisit the deadline if we can extend it and advertise for it as it should have been done. We're going to go, Councilmember. Oh, go ahead.
How quickly of a process is that?
How long do you think we could people up at it?
Notices out. We have notices out this week. We could advertise it.
We to reconvene the committee will probably take a week or so, and then we'd advertise. I'd like to say probably a month. I think would be appropriate if it's acceptable to the council, and we can move forward after that with a deadline after a month or so.
Okay.
Councilmember Hess.
Yes, you named the members of the committee. There's supposed to be 5 members on the committee, according to all the documents that I've done research on. one of the members, Miss Cynthia Schmeier, she was on there when she was representing the YBA. YBA dissolved 3 years ago. It was brought up during the previous administration, Mayor Foster, that she was not authorized to be on said committee. And so it was brought up back then, why is she still on there when she does not represent a nonprofit organization that puts on funds that, as you put it, brings heads into beds?
Sure. So as I mentioned earlier, she is no longer on the committee now. We will be filling that committee with the appropriate folks. I wasn't mayor January 1st. When I did find out about it, we did rectify it, and we are. But yeah, so I can't really say too much for the past, but for the future, there will be filled, the vacancies will be filled.
Okay. And did I hear correctly that it's $25,000? Because more research that I did said it was $12,000 for this year.
My apologies, it was 12,000.
And it's for that reason, as you brought up with Councilmember Blair, that no advertisement was done or anything. I see it's for 50% of a fund that's available going to just one organization because they happen to either, there could be the appearance that they happen to just know about it from a good old boys club kind of situation. And we need to be transparent on this. That's why I asked that we postpone this until we get proper advertising, have multiple applications brought in, and have proper allotment of funding being done instead of 50% going to one organization. And if we have six organizations also put in, they're only getting maybe at most $1,000 if you split the 6,000 remaining 6,000. That's why I asked that we postpone this until we can get the process done correctly.
Thank you. Councilmember Kaminsky?
I'm kind of along the same vein, but since this money is going to the chamber and we have multiple park events this year, can't we split the 6,000, give some to the jazz festival, some to the Prairie Parade or whatever, like divide that money from all the events that we have? Can we do that?
It's possible, but you have to apply for it.
So each of these events has to apply.
So what the council can do is go ahead and take no action on this. And we could come back to it and award and have the committee meet again. And as I suggested, have the, meet as soon as we can. And it does, I mean, I don't want to say it's gonna not impact the group. It possibly could. But I also feel that the committee would also reevaluate possibly if we get more, and this is just me speaking, not on behalf of the committee, but just my thoughts the committee would do, that they can maybe allocate more money, because right now there is a balance, and is this the total? There is $332,392 in the total budget for this group. So we can relook at it and rethink if we want to increase the amount. Redo it. Councilmember Blair.
If I remember correct, and please, if I'm wrong, let me know. These grants are more of like a reimbursement. They don't get it ahead of time. So if it's put off, I was completely thrown. I didn't know why we were wanting to, why Councilmember Hess was wanting to put it off. I didn't realize what was going on. Obviously, I think the LTAC needs to meet again. They need to put it out to where other people can put in for it. And it's again.
Okay.
Later.
Councilmember Smith.
Does the one that you're talking about, since we didn't get any information on it, have they already been told they're getting the 6,000, or is this, do you know what I'm saying? So they've already been told. So they,
They've been awarded by the LTAC as a recommendation. It has to be approved by the city council.
got it. Okay.
Councilmember Hess.
In reference to timeline, the event doesn't take place until July, and I understand the money will be helpful for them. But if it's also a reimbursement for us to put it off on approving this till we go through the proper process of having it done properly, there's still plenty of time for them to get that reimbursement.
think Josh has his hand up over there.
Okay, I apologize, Councilmember Crossman, I didn't even see up there. My apologies. Go ahead.
I just raised it, so you didn't miss me at all. So my thought is, I'm familiar with the LTAC funds, and I, have no need for them. I can use them. I'm surprised that other businesses aren't aware of it. The nonprofit organizations, because it's not new. And so a lot of these places should be aware that that's available, and they just drop the ball, not applying for it. They don't need them. I don't know. So, and the chamber, it meets, they meet all the requirements for what it's for. So I don't see, and there's still funds available if somebody else wants to put in for it, so they can put in for it. I think it's a good idea to proceed with it.
Well, at this point, council can either make a motion to approve, or they can take no action, in which case the motion would die, or excuse me, the agenda item would just be postponed, and we could put in as old business for a future agenda item. Councilmember Hess.
I'd like to move that we postpone this until at least 30 days to allow the process to be done correctly.
So
I would like to make a motion that we do not act on this at this time, and at least wait 30 days to allow the process to be done correctly.
is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Councilmember Blair.
Just to. I'm trying to remember. We said, if I remember correct, when we were talking about this, we knew there's like 301,000 in this account. Obviously, we're not going to make that much available in 1 year. I think that's what the 25,000 you brought up was the number that we had come up with to set aside each year for out of this fund for availability. So first question, do you have any idea why the committee threw out the 12,000 number? And two, if we were to award this 6, can we still get the committee to come together and make the rest of that whatever $18,000 available and have people put in for it and do this again?
Yeah, so we could absolutely award it tonight, the 6,000, and then we could ask the committee to relook at it for up that amount.
Just to
There's no
clarify here,
Yeah,
we're not asking them to do it, we're telling them to do it.
yeah, I'm not sure on the regulations regarding
Committee.
the autonomy of the committee.
As far as, but the committee could meet again and discuss it.
Yeah. I'm not sure if we can compel the committee to come up with a certain number. We can request it, we could,
Okay, then our only leverage is to not act tonight.
correct. And so do you want to remind council that just by taking no action would be the same by putting, as Councilmember Hess did, his motion, we would have to wait 30 days before we could approve any of these funds. So it's up to council. Councilmember Hess.
I just want to remind everybody, when putting it off for 30 days, this event isn't until July. It's, as Councilmember Blair put it, it's a reimbursement, which means they already have to have the funding to do it. And so for us putting it off, we could, I mean, if you think about it, we could wait until the first meeting in July, and if we approve it, they get their funding back. So wait 30 days is not going to hurt the organization nor the event. The event is in July. It's not going to hurt them because they have to have the funding already.
So
That all I'm asking is, if we, as Mayor DePinto put it, no action, and then in 2 weeks it comes right back up as old business. It's the same thing. Has the process been done? Has the advertisement for the funds been made available to all organizations? Because as was pointed out, everybody knows about it. Well, not all organizations do know about it. Did the Mermaid Festival know about it? Do the people who might be brand new board members to an organization, do they know all the grants and everything available? These are concerns If we aren't advertising, and that is what why I am asking for it to be postponed, is that we go through a process that allows transparency and openness to the constituents that we represent. Instead of the appearance of the possibility of a good old boys club of, hey, I'm in the know and I know about this fund and something like that, that we have to have for all organizations involved to be able to be open to it. That's all I'm asking.
Councilmember Crossman.
Yeah, so you need to market ahead of time. You can't wait till July to approve the funds for reimbursement, because if you put on an event, they can't bank on again 6,000 for sure if you're not going to vote on it till late. You know what I'm saying? So the sooner they got the approval, the more okay we can spend that money. We can start marketing. We can start advertising, get people in. If you don't know for sure you're getting that money, you're not going to spend money on the marketing until you know that you have that income coming in. And so the longer you wait, the less time there is to market the event. Because they're not going to spend that money if they don't have it.
Councilmember Kaminsky.
I don't really like the term old boys club, because I really don't think this is what it is, because I think most of these associations probably are aware of that, and it should have been proactive. But what I was going to ask is, do we have our communications director that can maybe do a blog for 2 weeks on this and then just come back to the next meeting where there's not much of a delay, but we've also put it out there?
Our communications in recreation coordinator comes on board Monday. And so,
Okay,
yeah, we could do some.
that would be
Yeah.
kind of,
I don't think you need to take it.
Are you finished, Councilmember Kaminsky?
yes.
Councilmember Blair?
Sorry. I don't think we need to wait another month. I think a 2-week period is plenty of time for people to put in apps again and have the committee redo their recommendation. I don't like that it wasn't really broadcast out, so we only have one group that put in for it. And I'm not down talking anyone involved in that group, but obviously the chamber has knowledge of this and has done it for years and knows to put it in the application and all that. But especially the smaller events or the newer ones, and depending on how they've handled the last couple of years, some people just may not have been aware to get the apps in. So I think just give them a couple more weeks. I mean, obviously you got to talk to committee, figure it out, but a couple more weeks, and especially with the communications person coming on, and get the word out to, we've got record of who applied for it before. The info.
Well, we do have a motion on the board with a second. So if there's is there any other further discussion? Councilmember Blair?
Clarify the motion one more time.
Motion was by Councilmember Hess to postpone.
For 30 days.
Postpone for 30 days. Under new business, 6A, Lodging Tax Advisory Committee Award Recommendation. Motion to approve the 2022 Lodging Tax Advisory Committee Award Recommendation in the amount of $6,000.
Could you shorten the third
Can we amend it?
periods to 2 weeks?
It would require the original person who made the motion as well as the second to agree to those or to redo it, but
To be honest, I don't understand the difference. 30 days is not a big deal, because Monday, the new communications person comes on. The first time that it can ever hit the newspaper to have it broadcast via the Nisqually Valley News or local paper won't be for another 2 weeks, knowing their publication schedule. Okay, so that right there is one avenue taken out. As was briefed last week when I asked, how do we advertise? The 5 posters can be put up. They can be put onto the website, and it can be put onto the Facebook page. But not everybody is tied into all that. And in the Nisqually Valley News,
I will say that anyone that is involved with event planning isn't getting the information from the newspaper. I understand, like, that's the traditional way of putting out the information, and we should continue doing that for certain, like, obviously everything, but the people that like people involved in event planning and this kind of stuff, they're not getting this information from the newspaper. They're getting it from email notifications. They're getting it from the city directly. So delaying it further for that reason, just that doesn't give me good enough reason for it to wait another 30 days. I honestly like this, if we were a big city, like if we were the size of Olympia or Federal Way or somewhere like that, I could understand needing more time. This is Yelm. We already know there's no new events this year that I'm aware of that I've heard anything about. We already know what the events are that happen throughout the town. The city's already got contact with them. We already know everyone that's applied for them before. Literally like Monday morning, they could go, hey, go through everyone that applied, because last year, or excuse me, was it 19 or 20? When there was like 8 or 10 different applications or something like that.
2019, 2018 was when the big applications were done.
Yeah, literally just go down that list of people. Tell them, you just tell your communications person, I need you to contact all these people, tell them if they want to do an application for 2022, they need to get it in by 2 weeks from today.
Is there any more discussion? Councilmember Kaminsky?
How, to his point, how do people find out about the LTAC? How do these event people know? Where do they go? Where do they look?
In past years, it has been posted, I believe, on our website.
And it's been posted on social media and on the
Okay, so it
website.
has not been posted this year.
Correct. Councilmember Smith.
I just wanted to say, because I understand the situation where we don't have people presenting, and I get that, and I understand the reason why, but if this comes up again, or when it comes up again, maybe we could bring in somebody who is on it, who isn't here. Do you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Just so that we can have a little more clarity going forward. That's all.
Absolutely. Councilmember Hess.
And then I agree that 2 weeks, it can be done. You know, applications can be put in, but the LTAC has to still meet.
Yeah.
So,
Let's make sure we follow decorum. Councilmember Hess still has the floor.
and so for that meeting to occur in 2 weeks, that's already after the meeting has already happened. After the council meeting's already happened.
Any
First
further,
from Monday to get the applications in. It would have to be on Tuesday, right before city council meeting.
any further discussion before we take this vote? I'll call for Councilmember Blair.
Just to clarify, so the point you're making, either way, it's 30 days from now until we're gonna.
30 days, I honestly.
Please wait for most game to be called. Are you finished, Councilmember Blair? Is there any further discussion or we take the vote? Councilmember
Is the
Kaminsky.
timeline they're talking about accurate? That the minimum amount to get this before us again would be a month? Like, when is your next LTAC meeting?
So, I mean, it's possible we could do it sooner than that, but no sooner than 2 weeks.
Can I re-motion?
We have to take a vote on this one because it's been motion seconded. So if there's no further discussion, I will call for the vote. We'll do a roll call vote. Councilmember Blair,
Yes.
Councilmember Richardson, are you abstaining?
I'm going to recuse myself from voting.
Thank you. Councilmember Crossman, is
No,
that a no?
no, nay.
Councilmember Smith,
No.
Councilmember Hess,
Yes.
Councilmember Kaminsky? Or excuse me, Councilmember Roy.
Abstain, thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Roy. Councilmember Kaminsky?
I'm voting no to the last motion.
Okay.
Okay.
So that motion fails with a vote of 2 yeas, 3 nays, and 2 abstaining. All right. Motion fails. Go ahead, Councilmember Kaminsky.
Can I re-motion that we look at this in 2 weeks? Let the Communications
So-
director put it out, even if it's 1 week.
Sure, let me clarify real fast, if I may. Without a motion to pass this, so without a motion to pass new business 6A, this was a different motion by Councilmember Hess to pass. This motion would die. It would automatically go to old business for future council meetings. I would, from judging from the council's reactions, immediate or discussions immediately. Contact the LTAC committee tomorrow, see if we could reconvene immediately within the next couple days. I'm actually, I will have to speak with both of them tomorrow, actually, for sure, Thursday at the latest. We will try to reconvene immediately. And if the committee agrees, we would advertise to open up the deadline, we would advertise immediately in all the correct avenues. We could still, if the council would like to vote on that item at the next committee meeting, with the understanding that we are going to be opening up the award recommendations for this year again. So I will I'll communicate to the council as soon as I can, possibly as early as tomorrow, what the next steps would be. But if the council wishes to make a motion on otherwise or take action on this item, they may do so.
That's what I tried to do. I thought I did it wrong.
No, I'm just saying that if council makes no motion currently, this would just go to old business automatically. But if you want to relook at it under a new business in 2 weeks,
Can we move to approve it with a shorter timeline? We all agree on a shorter timeline.
could you clarify? A shorter timeline of,
2 weeks instead of 30 days for the delay in the decision.
well, it'll automatically go in 2 weeks. It'll automatically go in 2 weeks to old business, so you could revisit it and
So
vote
we'll
on it.
go back on.
Yes, correct. So if council takes no action, it'll go under old business. We will revisit it in 2 weeks and we'll have this discussion and updates again. If council wishes to, do something else, they can do so, but I'm not gonna tell you what you should or shouldn't be doing. Like Councilmember Smith.
So just to be clear, if we do nothing, hopefully on Monday or whatever, or like he said, going down a list or somebody would call these people, at least so they're aware of it. Then
Yes.
in 2 weeks, it would just come to us again and, okay,
Correct. And as mayor, I will go ahead and make sure that those
Okay.
people are contacted and all that. That's also contingent on what the LTAC decides.
I understand that.
Councilmember Blair.
I don't know if this is the right way, but I'm gonna move to table this. Until next meeting.
It's been motioned to table this item 6A till next meeting. Is that correct? Is there a second?
Can I clarify that?
Sure.
I'm tabling it with the expectation that there's gonna be a conversation with LTAC members. It's gonna be opened up, and then when we see it again, there will have been other people that had the opportunity to put out applications.
It's been clarified. Is there a second?
Somebody, is that a more effective way to do what we're trying to do?
Councils, yeah. It just died, so is there a second? The lack of a second, that motion dies. Councilmember Hess.
I suggest we move on to old business at this time.
Okay, is there any more discussion on 6A? No further discussion on item 6A, we'll move on to 7A, old business. There's none scheduled. We'll move on to 8A, updates from department heads. Chief, would you like to go ahead and give us some updates?
Yep, love to. All right, council, mayor, thank you. A couple updates going on in the city from the HR side of things. We are wrapping up the AFSCME contract that will go to the members, I think, to be voted on Thursday. And that'll come to council on the 26th for council mayor approval on that contract. We wrapped up second round of interviews with our part-time AP person. They selected a tremendous candidate by the name of Sarah Kidd. She will start with the city on May 2nd. In the public works world, nothing really going on there. A little bit going on. Water park, fitness pad, sidewalk, paved parking lot, all should be done by the 28th of May, which will be the ribbon cutting and all that for the fitness pad and turn the water on for the sprinklers and everything else. So that's great.
You want to talk more about that paved parking lot? I'm not sure council.
So the big parking lot over there that's gravel for the park. So we're gonna pave that entire parking lot. And within that, there should be about 42 parking stalls that will be identified within that parking lot area. And then the wood fence also gets removed, correct?
New sidewalk in the front of the fence.
New sidewalk in front. So that'll be a good project. And then all other projects within the city, Mosman, the pipe replacements, all that is on schedule. Knock on wood, even a little bit ahead of schedule. So we're optimistic we can wrap some of those up before the deadline we were originally given. In the police world, we're able to secure the 2 vehicles from Idaho. They're in Olympia right now and are waiting to get the equipment installed, which would be fantastic. We're in the final stages of a background with an entry-level candidate. Projected academy start date June 1st. And then we're in discussions with the school district currently to expand the school resource officer program from our currently 1.2 to potentially 3 SROs in the future. So any questions for me? Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. All righty, going on to council member updates. Councilmember Blair.
Nothing, Kurt. I have a question for Cody though. They don't think they're done with Yelm Ave, do they?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Lighton McQueen helped us out on that paving project. So our plan is to do the whole road like that. No, that's a temporary. I'm sure Mayor Pino will update you on that when it gets to him.
You can feel free.
Yeah, so temporary patch, the reason why the road is like that is because there's a water main we replaced under it. We still have to pressurize that main and test it. We don't want to fix the road now because if that main fails or there's a leak, we have to dig that all back up. So you temp patch so you can dig it up, get in there. We should be done optimistically in the next 3 weeks, unoptimistically by the middle to end of May. So
Just wanted to make sure they didn't think they were done.
I got it. We don't let them off the hook.
It's not the first time we've heard that question.
Is that all?
That's all.
Thank you, Councilmember Blair. Councilmember Richardson.
I attended a senior center breakfast on Saturday, had some biscuits and gravy. The bacon was on par. That was really good. I also attended a Young Life meeting last night, Young Life Club with teenagers from Yelm High School, really good group of kids. Attended the forum today, and I have to say that the orange creamsicle cake was fabulous. Shout out to Masonry.
Thank you, Councilmember Richardson. Councilmember Crossman.
Nothing to update.
Thank you, Councilmember Crossman. Councilmember Smith.
On April 5th, I attended public safety and Chief Todd Administrator went over most of that. The body cameras are still on point and timing for May. On April 6th, I had my TCOM meeting. They're still in the 3rd week of their academy with the 8 new people. One of them dropped out. And then this week is National Public Safety Telecommunicator Week. So shout out to all of them. Also on April 6th, I had the Southeast Thurston Fire Authority Board meeting, and it was our first meeting back in person. So that was really nice. And then I attended the Easter Fest over the weekend in the rain. It was wonderful. That's it.
Thank you, Councilmember Smith. Councilmember Hess.
No meetings have occurred yet that they all start. I do want to put an invite out for fellow council members next week on 20th, I believe it is. Yes, on the 20th. I'm planning to be here at City Hall for constituents to come meet. The only reason why I'm putting the invite out is because if we have 4 or more of us, we have to put out the notice it's a public meeting. And so please let me know. I would like to know by Thursday if you would like to join me on doing that. It's going to be from 4 to 7. Gives constituents an opportunity to come visit either before or after dinner.
All right. Thank you, Councilmember Hess. Councilmember Roy.
Working on Pretty City Day with Council Member Craftsman. I'm asking that if you have a team that you'd like to put together, that we have that information by the 15th so that we can identify if there are spots in the city that are, that won't be hit. And then we can put teams there if necessary. I have city meeting on Friday, so looking forward to that. And then, of course, working with Cody for the ribbon cutting for the fitness court on the 28th, and it's going to be amazing.
Councilmember Roy. Councilmember Kaminsky.
Well, just an update on city beautification, because that involves other things other than art. So sometimes beautification just takes walking down the street and looking with a fresh pair of eyes at what doesn't look good. And I am working with the very busy Public Services Director, Cody, because he does everything around here. Anyway, on our little wish list, when he has time, we're talking about, and we have a new pressure washer, I understand, pressure washing the city sidewalks from the main light down and the curbing and making things look fresh and pretty. They did pressure wash the monument at the old city hall, so you can actually read where it says welcome to Yelm, because before it was black. So I thought that was important. Also, I noticed the beautiful lanterns and light poles have got all tape and sticky things from people putting posters on them. So when we get time, we want to refresh those with some nice shiny black paint and get those looking good. And also I noticed some of the lanterns on those posts are either burnt out or gone. So I understand we have to talk to PSE and get them to come and take a look, because they're street lights. But if they were all consistent and shiny and pretty, I think that would look really, really good. And what else? And also Sarah has ordered new wayfinder signs, which I think that are also, I think, black. So they're
It
here.
came in yesterday.
Oh, good.
Beautiful.
Good. So I think that'll make a nice impression. So those are just some of our spring cleaning ideas whenever Cody can get it done. That's all I wanted to share.
Thank you, Councilmember
Thank you,
Kaminsky.
Cody.
Good report. First of all, I want to apologize. It's kind of been a little hectic meeting. Wasn't as well ran as it could have, so I apologize for that. I will go ahead and get all those items that the council asked to get done for the next meeting done. And I will update council here either tomorrow or the next day as progress made on it. So we will revisit the LTAC and the awards and all that. Other than that, had a mayor's meeting beginning of the month. Went well, just discussed what's going on here in the city of Yelm versus and all the other cities in Thurston County. These are pretty cool meetings. We just kind of get a vent to each other about what's going on and some of our needs and stuff like that. Some of the struggles and challenges that each city's facing, bounce ideas off each other, stuff like that. It's pretty cool. I had a good YMCA meeting with Kyle Cronk. We're now at the point where we're trying to identify funding sources, and part of that will be the Y come into a study session here in the near future, discuss it with city council and what the council appetite is for this. And but it's moving forward well. Good conversations with the YMCA. Yesterday went to talk to the Yelm High School and we chatted about civics and what a mayor does versus they always think I have a lot more authority than I do, especially when it comes to schools. And so that was a fun conversation. One of the kids' birthday is today, and he didn't show up, but he was gonna be mayor for a day. So you know, I guess we don't have to worry about that because he didn't show up. So other than that, not too much to report. Lots of updates, lots of discussions that we'll have to do here at the council retreat next week. Lots to talk about and look forward to it. So other than that, is there anything good for the order? Councilmember Hess?
One question, we had at the study session, the person talking about the creative districts, they had a PowerPoint slide. Was that going to be forwarded out to us as well? Because I thought my understanding, listening to the conversation, that was going to be forwarded, that would be made available to us as council members. Did I misunderstand that?
I don't recall that.
forward
but
those to
we
you.
can forward that, yeah,
Isn't it in the,
the minutes.
or our, no, our late, the big document?
It wasn't in your packet originally.
No, but I mean, isn't it part of the, never mind, the big laser?
It's in Laserfish, yes.
Thank you, that's what anyway, sorry.
Thank you, Councilmember Smith. Councilmember Roy.
No, I was just gonna say, we got the paper copy of the slides the week prior.
Okay. That is true. Councilmember Harris, would you still like it forwarded to you though?
No, if it's in,
Leave your finish.
I'll look at it.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Councilmember Blair,
Move to adjourn.
for a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Any opposed?